Everybody, and good morning. Today is Saturday, the 29th of November, 2014. I'm Anna Koyman, and a Fox News alert. More arrests in Ferguson overnight as protesters span out across the country, disrupting Black Friday shopping, staging die-ins in malls, and even chaining themselves to trains. We're live in Ferguson in moments.
Can you imagine this? Never say never. What happens when pigs fly? This woman just found out the hard way. That is a pig, and she's in an airport. Fox and Friends begins right now. This is why I get out of bed in the morning.
It's time for Fox and Friends.
It's not a Geico commercial?
No. Legitimate.
It's legitimate.
We're gonna dive more into the pork at the airport coming up. Rick Reichmuth sitting in this morning. Nice to see you this morning for Tucker.
Thank you.
Are you doing weather and Tucker duty today?
Yes, today I have to do weather. Maria's not here, so
double duty.
Yeah, which means I'll probably do neither of them super well.
So we start out in
you'll do both
great,
well.
as you usually do, but we'll start out in Missouri, where it was cold and people weren't out on the streets, but it seems like they've returned. Yeah,
we're going down to Ferguson, Missouri, as protests clash with police.
Demonstrators also shutting down crowded malls on the busiest shopping day of the year.
You know, that Thanksgiving calm gave way to this. Garrett Tenney joins us live outside the Ferguson Police Department with the very latest on this. Garrett, good morning.
Yeah, Anna, Clayton, and Rick, that peaceful calm sure didn't last very long. Last night, about 150 protesters gathered here outside the Ferguson Police Department. And at one point, police, they were filling the street. They asked the crowd to disperse. When they refused to leave, the police rushed into the crowd with riot gear and pepper spray. They had to pull out several individuals who had been throwing bottles at them. They made 16 arrests in all. But what was interesting is there were some new faces out there in the crowd as well. A large group of students there who say they were from New York were chanting pro-communism slogans, as well as passing out revolutionary Communist Party literature. This group is just one example of how this national spotlight on Ferguson, it's attracting all kinds of groups, each with their own specific agenda. Across St. Louis yesterday, though, other protesters looking to boycott Black Friday, they marched through several malls, shutting them down in the area. They would chant, march, going throughout the mall. Businesses during that time were forced to shut down, and they remained closed, a lot of them, for the rest of the day. A lot of businesses were hurt by that, as during this critical shopping time of the year. The protests were mostly peaceful, though. You can see one man was arrested there. And really, we should point out a distinction here between these two groups that you have. You have those like at the malls that are out here to protest peacefully, to make their voices heard, and you have a lot of these other groups like those that were here in front of the police department last night that really are just looking to cause trouble and really just draw some attention with all of the cameras that are here.
Right. All right, Garrett Tenney, live in Ferguson. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Garrett.
Yeah, all those, you know, there had to be so many retailers going, what did we do to deserve this, right? Yeah. With all the celebrities tweeting out Blackout Black Friday, trying to get folks not to go shopping at all.
A day they rely on.
And especially, you know, today's small business, today's small business Saturday, absolutely. So, yeah. And it wasn't just in Ferguson. Hundreds of Michael Brown protesters fanning out across the country, disrupting the busiest shopping day of the year.
In Northern California, dozens arrested after chaining themselves to trains.
Tell the truth and stop the lies. Mike Brown didn't have to die.
Yeah.
The group in Oakland bringing service to a standstill before police cut the chains and took them into custody.
And in Seattle, protesters marched the streets in crowded, busy shopping centers.
Hands up!
Police arrested at least 5 people using pepper spray and blocking traffic.
Yeah, and hundreds also marched the streets of Chicago, and then right here in New York City, down in Times Square, people were crowding the streets there. You know, a lot of reaction coming out to what NFL star Benjamin Watson had to say about the events in Ferguson. You know him as a Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots. He now plays with the New Orleans Saints. He took to Facebook because he was just really upset, embarrassed, and reflective. And so he wrote up this post on Facebook where he talked about his levels of frustration with what he saw unfolding in Ferguson. His first reaction, his more reflective reaction, and then sitting back and thinking about how he's going to talk to his kids. He talked to Greta last night about this post. It's eye-opening. Listen.
Initially, I was angry as a black man, knowing the history of this country, knowing the things that we've gone through, I was angry, and I think that's a correct response. Past that, you understand that, hey, I don't know everything that happened. I wasn't there. There may be things that I don't know. Past that, I'm embarrassed at certain things about how some people reacted to the decision not to prosecute.
When we saw these clashes with police, too, you saw children out there, right? And that was a bit disturbing, that parents would bring their kids into these situations where chaos is happening, and danger and violence and the looting and the carnival atmosphere where people are going in and stealing things just for fun, just because they could. Well, the same football player says, you know what, the leadership really starts with the family. This is not an issue just in Ferguson. This is a nationwide issue, and it's the deterioration of mom and dad not being around. Listen to this.
The leadership comes from the household. It comes from the family. And, you know, as a parent of 4 kids, my kids need to look to me for that leadership, and it's my job as a parent to tell them what's real and what's not real, and to grow them up, to be respectful, to do things the right way, so that we can avoid some of these things that happen.
You know, if you read his entire Facebook post, it's a really lovely and beautifully written piece. And if you haven't read that, I'll put that out on Twitter just now. I'm Rick Reckman on Twitter, and so you can read the entire thing. It's so articulate, it's so thoughtful from both sides of this, and saying we all need to understand each other and make sure that we each examine our own lives and what can we do to move the situation forward. Really nicely said.
So what do you think about this? Friends at FoxNews.com. You can go there and weigh in. We're on FF Weekend, of course, on Twitter and also Facebook. We'll post that up on our Facebook page this morning, your thoughts on that. But now we've got some